Hello, Chelsea fans. Welcome back to the Chelsea Show. Rayan Vítor'S move from Vasco da Gama to Chelsea in the January transfer window is one filled with emotion, ambition, and the kind of silent maturity that defines future great defenders. Long before the lights of London reflected on his face, long before the cameras captured his arrival at Cobham, Rayan was just a young boy from Rio de Janeiro playing football in narrow streets, dreaming of professional glory, unaware that the world's biggest clubs would one day fight quietly for his signature. His rise was not the explosive meteoric type so common among flashy attackers. Instead, it was the slow, deliberate, powerful rise of a defender who thinks deeply, plays intelligently, and carries responsibility beyond his years. Rayan's earliest coaches at Vasco often described him as a child who understood the game in a way that surprised even adults. He started as a defensive midfielder, showing natural vision and technique. But after a notable growth spurt at age 13, his entire role changed. Coaches noticed that he not only won most defensive duels, but also had the rare kind of anticipation that allowed him to see danger before it developed. One of them made the decisive call that would alter his career forever. He moved Rayan into central defence. At first, the boy resisted. He wanted the ball more often, wanted to dictate tempo, wanted to play the midfield roles he had mastered for years. But once he understood that a modern centre-back could do even more for the team's rhythm, he embraced it fully. By the time he reached Vasco da Gama's U17 team, he had become one of the most composed young defenders in Brazil. Scouts who attended matches to study other players found themselves turning repeatedly to the tall, calm defender wearing the captain's armband. He did not shout or scream. He controlled the line with quiet authority, stepped out confidently with the ball, and seemed completely unfazed by pressure. There were matches where he barely needed to tackle. His positioning was already perfect. That quality, intelligent defending rather than desperate defending, is what truly grabbed Chelsea's attention. Chelsea's South American scouting network had been expanding aggressively, tasked with identifying defenders who could fit into the club's long-term football philosophy. One Chelsea scout, originally in Brazil to observe forwards, found himself writing a surprisingly passionate report about this new centre-back from Vasco. His report read, "Rayan Vítor is not just good, he is a future leader. Calm, technical, physically strong, intelligent, Chelsea profile." From that moment, Rayan's name was elevated to high priority status. Files, videos, match clips, data metrics, GPS readings. Everything about him matched the profile Chelsea wanted. The club knew they needed to act fast. European rivals were beginning to notice him too, and Vasco da Gama had no interest in losing him cheaply. Negotiations would not be simple. Chelsea's first approach was quickly rejected. Vasco valued him not only as a promising defender, but as a future cornerstone of their senior team. But Chelsea did not give up. They came back with an improved structure, one that respected Vasco's development plan and provided long-term financial incentives. It was not just a transfer, it was a partnership. The sell-on clause, international appearance bonuses, and high performance-based add-ons convinced Vasco that this was the right opportunity. When Rayan was finally informed that the clubs had reached an agreement, his reaction was a mixture of shock and gratitude. He knew a big move was possible someday, but he didn't expect it so soon. Before leaving Brazil, he visited Vasco's training ground to say goodbye. The environment was emotional. Staff members hugged him, teammates teased him, but many eyes were wet with pride. He recorded a short farewell message, telling fans, "This club made me who I am. I will carry Vasco with me to England." His flight to London marked the beginning of a life-changing chapter. Upon landing, he was taken directly to Cobham for medical examinations and orientation. The facilities blew him away. The immaculate pitches, the fitness centres filled with advanced technology, the calm professionalism that defines elite European clubs. When he signed his contract and held the Chelsea shirt for the first time, cameras captured a young man both humble and hungry, aware of the magnitude of the moment but not overwhelmed by it. Chelsea then announced the signing officially, and global reaction was swift. Brazilian fans celebrated the idea of another defender entering the European stage. Chelsea fans, known for embracing promising talents, welcomed him enthusiastically and began circulating his highlight videos. Analysts commented on how Chelsea were making long-term smart decisions, acquiring defensive talents for the next generation, rather than relying solely on expensive Finnish stars. But through all the noise, Rayan stayed grounded. He preferred to focus on the work ahead. The first training sessions were a shock to his body. The cold English air, the intensity of drills, the speed of play, all far beyond what he had experienced in Rio. But he adapted quickly. The coaches were impressed by his professionalism. He arrived early, studied tactical diagrams carefully, asked thoughtful questions, and stayed late to do extra work. His passing range immediately stood out. He could switch play from the back with precision, break lines with calm vertical passes, and step into midfield when needed. In defensive scenarios, he showed anticipation and timing that made even senior players take notice. Chelsea did not rush him. The club had a development plan tailored specifically for him. Gradual integration into first-team training, targeted strength conditioning, tactical lessons focused on Premier League dynamics, and controlled exposure to competitive matches. They saw him as a long-term investment, a defender who could anchor the team's backline for years, possibly even become a leader. But beyond football, Rayan had to adapt to life in London. He began learning English phrases, started bonding with teammates, and slowly grew comfortable in the new environment. Chelsea assigned staff to help him adjust: nutritionists, psychologists, language tutors, and physical trainers. The club wanted him to succeed not only on the pitch, but in life. As weeks passed, whispers among training staff grew louder. He's special. He's ahead of schedule. He plays like he's 25. And they were right. Rayan's performances, even in closed-door training sessions, showed maturity far beyond his age. He never panicked, never rushed, never overreacted. He defended with brain and control rather than pure force, a trait that Premier League coaches love. Chelsea's vision for the future is clear. Build a young, technically elite, tactically intelligent squad that can dominate Europe for years. In that vision, Rayan Vítor fits perfectly. He is not just a signing. He is a project, a piece of the puzzle that could define Chelsea's defensive identity in the coming decade. From the crowded streets of Rio to the world-class training fields of London, Rayan's journey has been powerful and inspiring. He arrived in England not as a star, but as a promise, one Chelsea believes will one day shine brightly. The January transfer window delivered many surprises, but none carry the long-term importance of this one. A teenage centre-back with courage, elegance, intelligence, and unshakable composure has joined Chelsea. And those who know football deeply understand, this is only the beginning of a remarkable story.